At what point do you think it's like unsolvable? Where the Muslim, influence, is like, 7%, 9%, 14%. At what point do you think it's just like unbeatable?
I don't think there's a number. I don't know. I'd rather think that it's never unbeatable. The way I look at it is that when it comes to fighting for the right values and for saving our societies from, Islamic or communist or Nazi or whatever garbage ideology out there, from the takeover of those ideas, if you think like there's a I think that the idea of these countries have been, like, when people say UK has fallen or Canada has fallen, that's a defeatist attitude. I think you should continue to fight for your countries no matter what, no matter, even if you feel like everything is gone and there's no point fighting anymore. And I do want to remind people of this. Okay, so I don't know the numbers, so the answer is I don't know, but I do know this. I know that between 1935 to 1945, there was a period of time that if you look at the map of the world, you would assume that, the Enlightenment values that came out of Western Europe was just the naive dream of these philosophers who thought that this will last. And it was just so naive to think that these classical liberal values will work. And if you look at the map of the world, you will see that most of the world was dominated by communism, by Nazism, and by Japanese imperialism, and the era of these enlightened values were over. And then, not only just looking at one country or two countries, the entire world seemed to have been taken was being taken over by these garbage ideas. But then eventually you saw that these enlightenment values not only survived, now they're the dominant model around the world. So whatever challenges that we're facing right now when it comes to Islam, it's nothing compared to the challenges of Nazism and communism that almost seemed like it was going to dominate the whole world. So never give up, keep fighting, and don't let anybody tell you that your countries have fallen.
Armin, I do believe, in optimism, that nobody should ever stop fighting. But it does seem different though, sir. Like with the infiltration, in the UK or the United States and Canada, and you know, that was never the case in, Great Britain during World War II. There was
Co-
never
Communism.
like a big Nazi infiltration. This is
We had
different,
communism. We
and
had
it's a
communism
bit
infiltration.
scary.
Communism. We had communism infiltration. Half of, I mean,
Yep,
the Berlin
yep,
Wall. Like, we had half of Germany was communist, and now all of Germany is capitalist. We had
right,
infiltration of
right.
communist ideas all
Yeah,
around the
but
West.
this is a little bit different. It's like the Western men are weak. You've talked about this before. It's just like we're just rolling over, like a dog, and not fighting back.
Well, I think when life gets too tough, eventually people will fight back. But again, what's the point of giving up? Either we fall, either we'll fall or we won't fall. We might as
Right.
well fall standing up, right?
I agree.
We
Yep.
might, yeah,
Okay.
we might as well keep fighting till the end. But yeah, but we're not gonna fail. We're gonna win
Yeah.
this. I am optimistic. All right,
Okay.
let's
Next, I
move on.
have Drew. Baba.
All right.
Yep. All right. But we'll talk about this more later. Today we're gonna let's do this when we have our premium calls where there's less people here. I'll get into more details then.
Hey Arminos, in Ukraine, it's like a testing ground for military weapons. Do you think Iran will become a testing ground for like urban planning smart cities? And also, real quickly, on the 5,000 Marines, could I get your opinion on whether you think they're going to land in Iran? If that report's real, do you think that would even be a good idea to protect the Strait of Hormuz? I asked that earlier in the room, so wondering your idea.
So I don't know about the first question. What was the first question again? Like,
About smart cities, like how they do in Asia and
oh,
all Do you think Iran will just be
Yeah.
trying to build infrastructure really quickly, or do you think it'll be like heavily planned, where you're using like AI and
Mm.
computers to try to
Yeah,
use energy really
I
efficiently?
think once Iran is free, it's going to whatever technology is out there in the world that is doing the most advanced things is going to also pour into Iran. I really am very optimistic about the future of the world when it comes to technology. I think our lives are going to become a lot more prosperous, and well-being is going to improve. Everything is going to become so much more accessible and cheap. Housing, education, everything with AI and other technologies faster than a lot of people realize. And I think as long as your country is free, it's going to get exposed to that. So all free countries are going to get exposed to that. And they're going to see the change coming. The only way that you're not going to see that change massively is if you're a closed country like North Korea, for example. With regards to the Marines getting involved, first of all, we don't know exactly if they're going to get involved. We just know that they're being called upon. I do see special military operations by United States being something that is very possible, especially when it comes to, I don't know, maybe taking Heart Island or the enriched uranium, finding that and basically guarding that, maybe finding a way to get that out of Iran, maybe taking out certain key individuals or assets would require some military operations, like so some special operations on the ground. So what I thought is that we're not going to see any form of like massive ground invasion like we saw with Saddam in 2003, but I did anticipate that at some point there's going to be some special operations required. That's what I anticipated, and this might be